What's the difference between active and passive investing?
Active and passive investing. Okay, so actually, let me go back to this shot of kind of our core model and use that as a little bit of an example. So with active investing, it's moving around,
Mhm.
right? And passive, it's not moving around, sort of. So, for example, if you looked at the S&P 500 index and you just bought the S&P 500 index and you just held on to that, that would be essentially passive investing, right? And you can buy like we do. We have one of our big holdings is the Vanguard S&P 500 ETF, ticker symbols VOO, right? And that would be considered passive investing there because Vanguard's buying that index. They're not moving it much. I'm buying that index. I move it a little, but not much. I'm trying to buy and hold those things, that type of thing. Now, S&P does change who's on that index. So
Yeah.
there is some motion, you know. They added Tesla. That also meant that somebody had to get knocked off, right? So, but when they're talking about active versus passive, they're basically talking about these big indexes that you would buy. There's not much change.
Yeah.
You know, it's very slight. Now, for us, when we look at our overall model, the core pieces would be more the passive parts. We want to kind of buy and hold those, especially in normal markets. And our target pieces are where we're going to be more active, you know, so we might move those depending on what we see happening as far as that goes. So there's kind of different levels. There's if it's an ETF or fund, it's what
Yeah.
they're doing. And if it's an index that the fund is buying, it's what the index people are doing, you know, as to how much motion. But there is a big debate as to what's better. Active costs more, generally speaking. If you go to look at, you know, active mutual fund versus a passive mutual fund, you'll see a differential in the cost internally, right? So, you know, that type of thing. And that's the difference. That's how it works. I really like the passive portions for a big chunk of our portfolio, and we've been very successful with that. We're here today doing this show because of a big chunk of our money has been in passive investing. It's worked quite well. I find it to be very satisfying.
Yeah, I think a hybrid system is usually the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
I don't think in each situation there's going to be always a specific situation where active may do better or passive will do better, but having both is kind of gain that both.
Yeah, and that's essentially what we have, right? Our targets are active, and our core is more passive. Yep. And so, yeah, I agree with that too. You know, we're just trying to, you know, add a little bit of return to the portfolio to see, you know, to justify our fee and what have you too. So.